Hey everybody, how you doing again? I'm back with some more rideshare reflections. Just for people who are joining the channel now and subscribing to the channel now, I want to go over my qualifications again. I am a veteran rideshare of 8 years off and on in the Washington, D.C. area. I have over 9,000 rides with Lyft and over 5,000 rides with Uber. All right, what made me get into it is I had gone to school for IT. I was changing careers. While I was studying for IT, I decided to drive rideshare because it gave me the flexibility that I needed. Also, it enabled me and continues to enable me to raise my son, my 14-year-old son, hands-on. We spent tons of time together. We're best buddies since his birth. Okay, so let's get into, well, first let me tell you that this channel is about sharing with you the craziest, the funniest, the most violent, the weirdest stories that I have encountered or experienced during my time. All right, so let's get into today's story. I'm not going to give you a description because it would give away the good part of the video. Of the story. So one day I was going down to DC from my home in Upper Silver Spring. DC is where most of the action is, where you make the most money. So I'm going down and I get a ping to a stop in a ride in North Bethesda. All right, so I pick her up, it's a woman, and we're going downtown to the Department of something. I can't remember, it's the Interior, Justice, Energy, what. So then this lady comes out of the house wearing an old sweatshirt, old sweatpants, the kind of thing it looks like you would lounge around the house in, or either maybe even sleep in. So she comes out wearing that, and she's carrying a pretty sizable bag. I don't know if I call it a purse. It's too big to call it a purse, but it's not a duffel bag or anything. It's just a big bag that you would put over your shoulder. So she gets in the car. She gets in the seat behind me, which is a little unusual. Most of the time people get in the back passenger seat. So we pull off and we're heading downtown. This is about maybe a 35-40 minute trip because it's morning rush hour. And I hear some rustling, some buffeting. I feel some buffeting back there. I try not to watch or look at my passengers in the rearview mirror unless I feel like something really weird is going on. And that usually happens with more than one passenger, right? When 2 people or 3 people are in the back. So I didn't look back there at what's going on. I've had many a woman put on makeup while they were in the car, work on whatever they need for work to get done in the car, get on conference calls in the car, right? So she's moving around, she's buffeting around. So we get to the location and this woman comes out of my car in a full skirt suit, formal jacket, formal skirt, heels, all made up, hair is probably about the same. It was so crazy that I actually thought to myself, maybe I lost track and this is a different passenger. So I looked at the app. It was my first ride of the day. Still my first ride of the day. So you got to figure it, at some point in the seat behind me, this woman probably went down to her panties, right? Unless she did one of those things where you pull up the dress first and then pull the sweatpants down. But it's hard enough to change in a car, and she wasn't small. So yeah, this is what happened in my car behind me. Just was crazy. Yeah, so that's that story, and I'll figure out a description for it when I post it. But so I also wanted to do one of my passenger tips today, and what I want to talk about is how some people believe that one or the other, Uber or Lyft, is more expensive than the other one. And the answer is neither one is. And I'll explain to you why. Okay, so first of all, this is all automated. there are no humans involved in the handing out of rides, right? Or to making decisions who gets what ride or whatever. There are several factors. It's AI. They're making decisions based on algorithms, and there are several factors that come into play. Most of those factors are the same for both companies: where you're at, where you're going, what time it is, what you know what I'm talking about. So, but there is a factor that both companies also use, but can be vastly different for the two different companies, and that is how many drivers are in the area. And how many drivers are in the area really affects the price. So people always tell me, hey, you know, I stick with Uber or I stick with Lyft. And my answer to that is to have both apps on your phone so that you can check the price or either one for your particular trip. And the longer your trip is, the more you want to check that price. Okay? Because the only way that one company is consistently cheaper than the other one, or less inexpensive, is if that company always has more drivers in the vicinity. All right, so that's the thing that affects it. Okay, some people I know were beefing with one company or the other over, I don't know, $12 that they lost or whatever. Well, if you think about it, if you search both companies for the price before booking a ride, it could only maybe take 1 or 2 rides before you make that money back, right? And then continue to save, right? So, you know, as the old saying goes, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. And that's exactly what can happen. All right. The next thing is, most complaints, if you really take it to them and if you take the time, I know it can be a pain in the butt sometimes, but if you take the time and take it to them, more than likely they will give you back the money or do whatever, because don't forget, they don't mind losing, or they'd rather lose a fare than lose a customer, right? So yeah, that's what I want to let you know. Do not choose one over the other. There's absolutely no humans involved in what the price is and who gets it. It's all AI. It's nothing personal, right? So if you're holding something personal against the company, you're wasting your time because they won't even know it. All right? Do what's right to save the money coming out of your pocket. All right, so I'll see you guys next time. I been holding back on the really juicy stories, but then I thought about it yesterday and I realized that I could always re-release them later or repost them or even tell them better when I get more subscribers. So look out for tomorrow's story. I guarantee it's going to raise the hairs on the back of your neck. All right, thank you.